Alright guys, it looks like we got a few more people to join, so we'll get started here pretty soon. My internet is being a little bit glitchy this morning, so I do apologize if the stream goes out. For now though, it seems to be okay. But yeah, I'm just going to give it a few more minutes and then we'll go ahead and get started. Good morning everyone. Alright, I'm going to go ahead now and get started on the pre-market watch list. It doesn't look like there's anything else really gapping up right now. We still have about 30 minutes until the market opens. But we'll go ahead and get started here. You can see that Bvig basically is my main watch this morning. This should be a good one today. Hopefully it has some decent range. So I'm definitely going to be watching Bvig. I'll go over that in a bit. Envb, AEI, hopefully this one can push higher. And a few others. So I'm going to start off with the watch list that I made last night, and then we'll go over the gappers from this morning as well. So the first one I had on the watch list was ADAP. This was one that had a pretty decent run yesterday towards the afternoon, and it ended up closing pretty strong. Right now it's not looking great here in pre-market. There's not really a lot of volume. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to set a few price alerts for the 640 area. And then for me to be long biased on this, I would probably want to see it at least building a base above this 640. And then if it can build higher lows around that level, we can possibly look for continuation to the upside. If you look at the daily, there is kind of some resistance towards 750 area, which it basically topped out at. So 640 is kind of the key level for me. If it rejects 640, puts in lower highs, then you can also, look for the opposite, which would be a short setup to fade this back down to maybe like 580 or lower potentially. So those are kind of the levels I would be watching on ADAP. The next one I had on my watch list last night was CLOV, which is actually gapping down at the moment. It had a pretty decent run yesterday. If you look at the daily, it's a stock that did run all the way to basically $30 and then faded all the way back down to this big $8 support. So it had a nice run off of that daily chart support there. But yeah, I am kind of short biased on it now just because we're gapping down in pre-market. This 1060 was actually a pretty big level from yesterday, which it tried to hold above, but now we're breaking under that level. So this could end up fading, back towards $10 or even lower, possibly the like 960 area if it breaks under 10. So, this has a lot of room to fade if it does want to fade today based on yesterday's levels. And then, if this dip were to hold and then we were to have a nice reclaim, you can see it's actually spiking towards VWAP right now. For me to be long biased on this, I would probably want to see it really building a base above like this 1070, 1080 at least. So if you want to be on the safe side when it comes to longs, I would just wait for this dip to hold, and then if it reclaims later on and builds a base, you can kind of use these levels to risk off of, and then we can see if it sets up for a breakout later on. And when I look at the daily, I feel like it does have potential to push towards these levels, maybe towards 12, 13s, 14s. I feel like that's kind of where the next resistance level is on this one. So I'm not going to rule this one out completely, but yeah, I would have to reclaim at least 1070 and build support for me to go long on that. So we'll see how that one plays out today or towards the open. The next one on my watch list last night was Bvig. This is going to be one of the main watches today. If you take a look at the daily chart, you can see that, we did have that first big run up. It pulled back pretty hard all the way to $5, but recovered and then broke out again. It's been kind of just chopping in this bigger price channel. And then, in after hours, we broke out. So we have big resistance towards $12. I think that's basically all-time highs. Was at $11.90. Which we're getting pretty close to here, so yep, $11.90 right there. So for now, I definitely do have an open bias on Bvig. We had a nice gap up. You can see this upper trend line here held this dip and then broke out to the upside. And it's trying to form a flag right now. So we'll see if this holds 11, and we could see this potentially break out higher towards all-time highs. We still have about 30 minutes till the open. So if I were looking for a long towards the open, I would probably hope that this breaks under 11 and kind of dips and then reclaims later and then breaks out. That's what I would probably hope for, but it still looks pretty good for now. I'm just going to give it some more time to build through 11 and kind of see where it's at towards the open on Bvig. But I definitely have an open bias on that one. I think it does have potential to push higher, and we are really close to these all-time highs. So that is something to keep in mind on that one. AEI, this is also top watch for me today. I was watching it yesterday. I was kind of hoping that it would run up to like $3 yesterday for a short setup, but it never did. It ended up topping out at like 270, and then it had a really big pullback all the way down to these 220s. So I ended up missing that short opportunity, but I think we might get one today. We did test $3 already and kind of pulled back there. I'm kind of hoping that it does push higher though. If you look at the daily chart, we do have this gap fill at 335. So we got pretty close to that level. And then we have another gap here towards $4 and $5. So I'm not saying it's going to get there, but if it does, I'll be very interested in a short if that one does get extended on AEI. But for right now, you know, if it can build a base above 280, I'm just gonna wait and then hope that it pushes higher and gets more extended. So that's kind of my game plan on AEI. I'm just gonna wait and see if it sets up for a short later on. Alright, so that was a lot of the watch list. I'll go through a few of the secondary ones, but I'm not going to go over all of them. Envb was another one, so you can add this one to the watch list. This is one we've been watching for the past few days. We have some big levels on this daily chart towards, I would say, this level is one I was watching towards $3, and then beyond that, 350, 455. There's really not too much resistance until really like the 450 area, 4 to 450s around there. So this is another one that, if this were to run up, I would be very interested in a short. You can see these big spikes. They did fail in the past and ended up giving back all of its gains. So, and you can see the volume bars on these big spike days. There were some pretty big volume days there. This one had 264 million in volume. So, what that tells me is there is a lot of overhead resistance, a lot of overhead volume. So if this one runs up, I'll definitely be interested in a short on Envb. For right now, though, towards $3, I do have an open bias at the moment because, it's been building up for the past few days. We built some good support towards this 270, 280 level. We got that breakout, and now it's trying to build. So we'll see if this 310 level can build and hold higher lows later on. And I'm going to definitely keep this on watch and set a few price alerts in case it does push higher. And then obviously if it breaks under 3 for longs, you definitely want to be careful if it breaks under that 3 support. But for right now, we're just kind of chopping sideways. So we'll see if we get some volume on Envb. This is definitely one that I'm very interested in. I'm going to be keeping on watch. AEHR, this one had a decent run yesterday, so just something I'm keeping on watch. You can see we had a daily chart breakout. We do have some big levels on the daily towards 10 and 11. ZIOP, I'm just going to set a few price alerts on that one. It held up pretty well throughout the day. So I'm hoping that one can push higher if it stays in play. And we're almost done, guys. I'm trying to get through this as quick as possible. Alright, so that was basically the watch list from last night. I think I pretty much covered everything. Let me just go over some of the gappers, and then we'll be all finished here. So, GANX, pretty nice extension there. But that one's pretty much done. You can see it broke this support too. It's probably just going to end up fading lower. I'll keep it on watch though if it kind of pops up later on again after the open. I know a lot of people are watching this one, SPRT. This thing made a big move, so I can see why a lot of people are trying to bounce it, and obviously it did have a nice little breakout in pre-market there. But at the same time, this daily chart still has a lot of room to fade. It basically started at $4 or $5 and made its way all the way to 60. So that's just something I might kind of watch on the side if it gives a setup later on. But yeah, I think I pretty much covered everything. If you guys have any questions or want me to cover anything else, just let me know in the YouTube comments and I'll check it out. We still have about 20 minutes until the market opens. Someone was asking about HIPO. So for this one, I was watching this one yesterday a little bit because it popped up on the scanner. Looking at this daily, we had this big sell-off and now we're kind of bouncing a little bit here. But it ended up kind of giving back a lot of its gains yesterday. So for me to be long biased on this again, I would probably want to see it building back up at least above the 620 to 640 level. So I would just set a few price alerts there, but if, this could easily just trade sideways or even fade lower. There's not really a lot of volume, so I would probably just avoid this unless it kind of picks up later on. Alright guys, I am going to step away from screens for a minute, and I'll come back, I'll hop back on the mic towards the market open. And yeah, there's not really much going on right now. Kind of a slower pre-market a little bit, but there is, some opportunities. But there's probably going to be a lot of stuff that pops up on the scanner today. So yeah, I'll be sure to let you guys know if any new stocks pop up. And yeah, I'll be back in a few minutes. Nice breakout there on Bvig. And big sell-off there on Clov right towards that $10 level. Big rejection there on Bvig, and that was right towards the previous highs, which was that 1190 area. Pretty big borrow fee on Bvig, at least with my broker. Pretty expensive. It looks like CLEU is popping towards VWAP. Hopefully this one can stay in play and maybe push above 4 later on. Alright guys, so far pretty slow action. A lot of stuff I'm watching just selling off right at the open. Clov, Envb broke under $3. AEI, straight dump right at the open. So didn't really give me an opportunity to enter on these ones. Clov in hindsight, I probably could have shorted that towards the open. There was a lot of room to fade, like I said, in pre-market from yesterday's levels, which is already testing right now. Bvig, the borrow fee was just way too pricey on trade 0, so I didn't end up shorting that one. So I'm just sitting on hands for now. We do have ARQQ that's halted to the upside, so hopefully that brings some momentum. We have some big levels from yesterday towards 18 and 20, which we're not too far away from. So we'll see what happens after this one opens. So this WIMI is popping up on the scanner a bit here. This is something I'll definitely keep on watch if it keeps running up. We got a lot of resistance towards 550 and 6, and especially the 650 level. It already kind of rejected, so it might be nothing on that one, but just something to watch if it does pop up later. Nice push on Bvig over $11. I'm kind of hoping that this one can build a base over time over this $11 area and then push higher later on. I'm also watching this EFTR. It's pushing back towards those levels from yesterday as well. A few things I'm watching at the moment as well is GSAT. If you pull up the daily on this one, we have some big levels towards 240. So I am hoping that this one can push higher on this daily and get more extended. It is a little bit extended here though, so I wouldn't be surprised if it also just broke under VWAP and faded back down. But that is something I'm watching for later. ATER is also pushing back up towards yesterday's highs. We got a nice daily chart on ATER as well. So hopefully this one can push, above $8 later on and get a nice move. You can see on the daily chart we're basically just stuck in this range. So hopefully we get a move through 8 potentially. But yeah, that's pretty much all I'm watching at the moment. Alright guys, I do apologize about the stream. I know it's a bit laggy here. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to go ahead and end the stream today. It's kind of a slower day. There is a few things I'm watching right now, but overall it is kind of a slower morning. But hopefully that pre-market watch list helped you guys out a little bit. I'll probably do another one in the next few days on the public channel. And just a reminder for those that want to sign up for the private Discord room, it does include my live commentary, watch list, daily, the scans, and a lot of other things are included. We do have about 10 discount slots left. So if you guys want to join, if you sign up on our website, you just have to type in new sub. And if you type that in, the discount, it should give you a discount for the monthly membership. So I'll type that out in the YouTube comments if any of you want to use that. And yeah, I will see you guys probably in a couple days, and I'll do another pre-market watch list for you guys.